Hey everybody, this is Rustin with Metal Nation, and I'm here today with Guillermo Izquierdo of Spain's Angelus Apatrida. How bad did I screw that up?
No, come on, you said it perfectly, both my name and the name of the band, and it's like I'm so impressed. Thank you so much.
I always have trouble with all the European bands because there's such nuance to the way the pronunciations are done, and
No,
I
no,
never
but
want to
it was totally perfect. Yeah.
butcher what's going on and everything. So I've been sitting over here all day watching the craziness of the Trump impeachment trial. How is your day going?
Well, it was pretty good. I'm working the whole day with the promotion of the new album, so I didn't have time even for reading the newspaper. I didn't know that the impeachment was today. So yeah, and now I'm not gonna go to sleep right now because now I have to check my phone how things are going over there. But yeah, no, pretty good. Just working on the promotion, doing a lot of interviews, and super happy working on the album, on the
Yep, the
promotion.
new album, the self-titled album, your seventh, came out last Friday, and we're going to talk about that in a bit. But first, this whole last year has been a truly bizarre and difficult one for everyone around the globe. How has the pandemic and the social unrest impacted you guys both personally and professionally?
Personally, I think it's well, I believe it's for the same for the rest of the world. I mean, we're trying to do our best, like psychologically, trying to get through this the best we can. In my case, as I told you, my girlfriend, she's a nurse. She works into ICU hospitals, and of course, she's working since the beginning of the pandemic, like super hard. She's like a true hero. But professionally, I would say that it was not a bad thing for us. Of course, there is a super bad thing, which is that we cannot tour. And since this is our full-time job, the economical situation of the band and the company, with a small company, it's very dangerous. We're just reaching the point of no return in that case. But it really helped us to compose and write this album, the album that we think is the best we could do. And honestly, we think it's the best album of Angelus Apatrida. So in that case, the pandemic came really well for that, because we have 100% of our time for dedicating or writing and producing the new album. But of course, I mean, that's like, there's a lot of other problems, like personal problems with this, but we try to look at the bright side of the things and try to get a positive thing of all this of this situation. And so now it's the new album, the positive thing of all of that. So just thanks God that we all are doing fine. We're not sick. We didn't get the virus, not our families. So yeah, so far so good.
Excellent. And I was going to ask you, did you guys write? I know you recorded this during the pandemic. Did you write the album during the pandemic, or did you already sort of have it going before the world shut down?
We got like 2 or 3 main riffs already composed by the end of 2019. Like 2 or 3 songs almost finished, almost composed. But everything was finished during the pandemic, because formally this was it was gonna be an EP formally, because it was supposed that we had a lot of tours during 2020 and a lot of festivals, so we expect not enough time for recording a new album. So the former plans were just stopping by April, entering the studio, recording 3-4 songs, and maybe releasing an EP by summer, and then continue touring all of the rest of the year. So since everything was canceled, we decided to keep on composing more music. So yeah, most of the songs are finished and composed during the pandemic. Maybe Into the Well, I would say that maybe it's the only song that was finished before even the lyrics, because I remember that I finished the lyrics while traveling to the first tour of Mart. Yes. So yeah, this is the only song that was composed before the pandemic. The rest of the album is composed during the hardest months of the pandemic.
Wow. And you had alluded to this before. You mentioned you were originally looking at doing an EP, and I was going to ask you because you guys have been putting out an album about every 3 years of late, and with the whole ADHD nature of people these days and the music industry and everything, a lot of bands have shifted more towards doing extended plays, getting them out there more frequently and just focusing on these are our great new 3 or 4 tracks to keep people's attention span. Is that something that you guys have looked at, or are you guys still just big album oriented people?
Well, actually, we got that discussion with the label last year. Not last year, in 2019 actually, about how the music industry is becoming. It's like everything is changing, right. And now there are more bands that are releasing like singles and EPs, and especially during last year, for example, I could watch how, for example, Machine Head was releasing like singles, and things were pretty good for them as well, because it's like it's a way for keeping people like bonded to you, and you're always releasing something new. So yeah, there was something like this. It was one of the reasons that we decided to record this EP, but of course all plans were fucked up, so we just got the plan B, which was going for the normal things. But yeah, I think it's something that we will try in the future, like releasing a couple of singles or EPs, or even like not physically, but maybe just like digital releases, something like this. There is a lot of things to learn from nowadays from the music industry, and try not to be old-fashioned with that. Of course, if you want to stay in the business, of course, and in a band like us, that this is our full-time job. It's like, yes, we need to be in the business.
Absolutely. So, and speaking of which, and we'll get back to the album in just a moment, but you guys are literally starting your 3rd decade as a band. Does that seem surreal to you?
Wow, this is the you just make me feel so old. Like 3rd decade, yes. Yeah, it's already 21 years together. Yeah. We started very, very young. We were kids when we started playing together. So yeah, it's like 21 years playing together. We spent a lot of years just covering our favorite bands until 2006, that let's say that we got our first album out, and we started to tour and like dedicating to music. And of course, in 2010, that we started to dedicate to music professionally. But yeah, it's like, I can't wait for another 20 to come, and maybe 40. It's like we feel very young. Actually, we're young. We're still young guys, and we feel a lot of energy. We feel a lot of things to do, a lot of countries to travel to, and a lot of new people to meet and discover new places and record new albums. And it's like, yeah, we started the 3rd decade of the band, but I think it's not like the same like the bands from the 80s. I remember when I was a kid, and I about this magazine who say like 10 years anniversary of Iron Maiden, 10 years. Yeah. And they already toured like the world like 3-4 times. They were like one of the biggest heavy metal bands ever. And now it's like a band with 10 years is super young. It's things are so different.
Oh right yeah. Now. I remember interviewing Paul Stanley from Kiss back on, I think it was like 1990, whenever the Hot in the Shade album came out. And we were talking about longevity, and he was talking about how surreal it was for him, in the sense that when they came up, bands, like all the big bands, 10 years was like, the Beatles didn't make it 10 years. Black Sabbath in their initial incarnation didn't make it 10 years. There wasn't any of that. Bands were usually around for 2 or 3 albums, and then they were gone. And now here we are with bands that have been around for a half a century, Judas yes. Priest still going strong,
Yes, exactly.
Cliff Byford of Saxon sounds as good today as he did back in 1980. So
exactly. And for a band like us, we're just starting. I mean, we're a big band in Spain, but for the rest of the world, we're a complete unknown band. We're just a new band for the rest of the world, and somehow this makes us feel young as well. Of course, we're still young, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, man, we have a lot of things to do and a lot of countries to travel and a lot of new albums to record. Angelus Apatrida, the new album, is just the first contact for a lot of people. So it's like, yeah, there's a lot of work to do.
And
Feels good. Feels good.
It's a fantastic record too. And I have to ask the obvious question as we get back into the record. Why, after 2 decades and 6 previous albums, is this one self-titled? Because that usually suggests a shift in musical direction, a new lineup or something like that. But this is hammer to the nads, neck snapping Angelus Apatrida. It almost seems like a statement album.
Yes, actually, yes. This is the main reason that we decided to call the album like Angelus Apatrida. Okay, to be honest, there was the last thing that we thought about. We started writing music. We entered the studio, recorded everything. We sent everything to Zeus. He mixed and mastered the album. So when we got the master back and we were already listening to the album like the real album, it was like, okay, does anybody thought about the name of the album? And it was like, no. Okay, so just one day thinking about the name and saying like, so it was like, I have no idea. I don't like to I said I don't like to name the album like a song or something like an easy thing. So it's like, why don't we just call this like us? It's okay, so already 20 years together. We went through a lot of difficult times. We're living through pandemic, and there were many changes on the sound for good. I mean, we just changed the tuning a bit, and we started working with Zeus. So we thought that it was like a rebirth, kind of rebirth, but in a very good way. We didn't change our style. We didn't change our music. Of course, it's more aggressive and more speedy and more powerful. But it was like, this is what it is. I mean, this is Angelus Apatrida. This is us. So this is us being angry. This is us playing fast. This is real Angelus Apatrida. This is Angelus on stage, and this is myself being pissed off, and this is what it is. So yeah, of course.
Well, and I was going to say that when I was listening to the album, I'm like, it sounds totally like you guys, but it sounds like that edge, that maybe pent up rage a little bit, and maybe this last year had something to do with that, was a little bit more palpable. You could sort of feel it in everything.
Yeah, this is the first time that myself personally, I was really, really and truly pissed off while recording, actually. I think because of the situation, because of the pandemic, I was really worried, and I'm still really worried about the future, about my job, the money and all the stuff. But yeah, every day going to the studio, I was really pissed off. And I think it's the first time that I could just like put this in, like somehow just put this anger on the vocals, not only because I'm screaming, but because I'm angry. Actually, I was really angry, and it's very cool that this happened, because now I will try to be angry every time I'm gonna go on a studio again. I will try to be angry, like, I don't know what, but I need to be angry because I can feel this myself. You know, I normally, when we finish an album, I don't like to listen to the new album for 2, 3, 4 months, because, you know, it's too much. But I still listen to the album almost one time every day, and I can feel this. I can feel myself like super angry, that sometimes I'm like a bit afraid of myself with this. Is like, so yeah, totally. I think it's something new that I discovered, because yeah, and I think Victor, the drummer, was kind of the same situation, because their drums are like the best drums ever, and I think that he was also very angry and very pissed off while recording. It took only 10 days for him to record the drums, 8 or 10 days, and it was like, yeah, every day he was like going on 8 in the morning to the studio and recording super like like this, you know. I never seen he like this before, and it's a very, very good thing. So yeah, that's we tried to do this in the past with our previous albums, but I think this time somehow we just discovered the formula for doing this like in a very, very true way.
Yeah, you definitely captured it. And I think this whole year has brought out that frustration in just about everybody in it. And like I said before, it's a little bit palpable. You can feel it. And that gave more edge to the album. And you guys stayed close to home for this one. I mean, in years past on other albums, you've worked with some other people. This time you kept it close to home. You worked on it yourselves. Is that because of the pandemic, or is that more because you guys now working on your seventh album, 20 years into this, have your sense of comfort with your abilities in the studio and everything? Because the production is wonderful. And then of course you handed it off to Zeus for the mix and master, and it came out perfectly.
Yeah, we made something like this in the previous album in Cabaret de la Guillotine. It was the first time that we were recording it by ourselves in our own studio. And it was kind of, learning a lot how to do that. We got a lot of help from external engineers, but this time we got the same situation, and we say, okay, let's go to this studio of Juanan, Baboon Records. He's a very good friend of us, and he lives in our same town. So yeah, we decided to go and start working with him. But at the same time, it was the first time that we got, I mean, the production was just how to say it in English. It was there was no one external, because we always have the help from Daniel Cardoso, the drummer of Anathema, and we always had his help. Even when we were recording by ourselves, he was always by phone, like, yeah, do this, do that, take this and take this and do this like this, blah, 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 blah. But it was the first time, like, it's only us. And especially during the first days, it was only Victor, the drummer, and me, together with Juanan, just setting everything up and putting the things like the way we liked it. And of course, we already got some instructions from Zeus, but at the end, it was our work doing this. But of course, I think that starting working with Zeus is something that made the band sound in a new level, I would say. Yeah.
He's fantastic.
I think that the Zeus, we didn't know before each other. I mean, he never heard about the band before, and of course I'm a huge fan of a lot of great works. He's one of my favorite producers, so this is why we decided to contact him. So when he said, yes, I like your band, let's do this, so it was like, wow, great, let's do this. Yeah, perfect. And I have to say that the guy just took the idea of the band since the first minute. We were super overwhelming about the result. When he sent us the first mix, you know, the reference mix, we were like, wow, yeah, it looked like this guy was working with us for all his life, and we were super happy about this. I think this is he's the one who made the sound of the band go one level, one step forward, you know, like going into a new level. So yeah, I just can't wait what's going to happen in the next album.
Yes, and this one, I mean, we can't overlook this one right now, because as you said at the outset, it may very well be the best record that you guys, the most complete package that you guys have put together so far. And there's just a fuck ton of great riffs on this and melodies. But one of the things that stood out for me, as it always does on your guys' albums, is the lyrics on this record really struck a chord, especially this year. On almost every track, I'm thinking of the American nightmare of Trump for me, the global impact of technology and social media, and how it's created such a dangerous disconnect from each other and from reality. It's you just really nailed it lyrically and with the social commentary this time.
Well, thanks for that. It's like, I really appreciate those words, because it's really important for us, the message that we try to send with our music. We grew up with bands like this. We love the heavy metal behind critical, you know, being radical, behind combative. Like we love a lot of heavy metal bands and punk bands, but especially bands like Sepultura, Sacred Rites, or I don't know, other bands outside heavy metal like Resistance Machine or other bands just trying to send a message, not political at all, just trying to be criticizing the society and the bad things that we don't like. And of course, during last year, we could just witness a lot of very bad things all over the world, not only the United States,
Right.
but it's there are many songs that I wrote them because of the situation of Spain. But when all the things with when Trump, all the problems that happened in the United States by the end of the year, it was like all the lyrics make completely total sense. It was kind of the same that was happening here.
Mhm.
So, but not only here, but in other countries in Europe, and you can see like the world is upside down. The world is really, really crazy. And yeah, come on, it's like there were a lot of racism cases here in Spain as well. Not only because of the thing with the Black Lives Matter,
Right.
but it also happened here in Spain. A lot of problems with immigrants, and a lot of people just started to act in a very racist way, like never seen before here in Spain. So this is like, wow. I mean, what's going on in this country right now? You know, this is not. I can't believe this is happening in Spain, because Spain is a country that was always immigrant itself. That we were traveling everywhere. You know, it's like we got this history of so and. I was really, really sad those days. And for example, this is why I wrote the Indoctrinate, and this is why we decided to make that kind of video clip, like showing all kind of different people from different races and different skin color or sexual preferences. It doesn't matter. Come on, it's everybody's the same, and heavy metal community should be tolerant and should be a brotherhood and sisterhood, and has nothing to do with racism and all that stuff. So yes, it makes a lot of sense, and yeah, there were a lot of situations during last year that influenced us writing these lyrics.
Well, I think the arrogance of most Americans is they don't realize the impact that what happens here or anywhere can ripple out across the rest of the globe. And clearly the unrest here and the behavior of our former president and all of that, and making it okay to be blatantly racist and anti-government and all that, impacted people across the globe. And it's embarrassing to sort of see what we've done to our allies, and our non-allies are just laughing at us and everything. But as you said, that whole Black Lives Matter thing, all that ugliness carried over to Spain, and we think of it as being here in America, and it's everywhere now, and we've sort of fueled that, and that really sucks. But not to get too far off topic, that's one of the things that I've always loved about the subgenre of thrash and metal is, you know, unlike the bands that we love and grew up with, like Judas Priest and stuff like that, where it was all about head banging and all of that, and, you know, halls of Valhalla and whatnot. There's always been more of a focus on intelligent lyrics and social commentary, and more so maybe in any other genre of metal, the words aren't just secondary to the music. They're as equally strong from my perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I like both sides of heavy metal. I really enjoyed it, everything. But when you dig into the lyrics of many bands that you think that they are just talking about Dungeons and Dragons or headbanging, sometimes you find that those lyrics are also criticizing the system, or
True.
are for example, I always take this example of the Run to the Hills from Iron Maiden. You know, it's like run to the hills, run for your lives. You know, it's like, wow, it's like a heavy metal anthem, but it's criticizing the slaughter of the genocide of the British on North America, as you know, to the Native Americans, for example, and inside of Maiden. So yes, I love to find out a lot of bands, especially my favorite bands, singing, having lyrics like this, because I don't like to be like, I try not to be very of course, not political, because we're not interested in politics. We're just interested in human rights, and we just want to defend human rights and just criticize what we believe it's an injustice, or what we believe is not a good thing for our people, or for my family, for my country. But at the same time, I try not to be. I try to be more metaphoric. This is what I want to say. Sorry that my English is not very good, so I have to. Sometimes I have to think in Spanish and then translate, and it's quite hard sometimes to express. But yes, like I prefer sometimes to be a bit more metaphoric in that way, not so explicit. That was the word I was searching, explicit. You know, like for example, Rage Against the Machine is a band that I love. It's one of my favorite bands ever. I think it's one of the favorite bands for any metalhead. So I'm pretty sure about this. But I love that the way they say things, you know. It's like they don't talk about politics. They don't talk about any kind of ideology, but they're just mostly defending human rights and defending the power of the people, and saying like, so this is what I love. And this is what I try to do with my humble English and my vocabulary. Yeah. So yeah, I really appreciate that you say that, because it means a lot to me. And especially because all the improvement I try to do, communicating in a language which is not my native language, and knowing that the message goes to you guys, it really is like, wow, yes. So I feel super proud of that and super happy.
I'm always jealous and feel a little inferior when I'm talking to people who can speak multiple languages, because all I can speak is English. So before we get out of here, because I know I've stolen you for a while, you know, I remember back in the day, you used to talk about the fact that you never wanted to be the singer. That wasn't your thing. You just want to play guitar and do your thing. But you've now been doing it for 7 albums, 20 plus years. Are you still reticent to be the vocalist, or have you now embraced that and feel comfortable with that?
I got used to that. I mean, it's like now it's the only thing I know. I do. This is my job. Of course, it's my passion, and it's my job at the same time. I cannot imagine myself doing other things. And nowadays, I think I can't imagine someone else singing in Angelus. But to be honest, officially, we're still searching for a vocalist. So, yeah, because I took over the microphone to cover the previous singer, and just, okay, I'm gonna sing, but until we have a new singer, a better singer. But honestly, we never find a new one, because we live in a small town and there was no singers here, no, not even men, women, nobody. So we just went like this. Okay, someday a new singer will appear. And yeah, 21 years later.
I can't imagine it being anybody else. All right, so sort of last question before we get out of here. You guys started out doing cover songs. Occasionally, you've thrown a bonus track cover song at the end of some albums, although I haven't seen one for the new album or the previous album. As a matter of fact, your cover of Highway Star from a couple albums ago, Hidden
Evolution.
Yeah, thank you. Is actually my all-time favorite rendition of it, even more so than Deep Purple. And I know that sounds blasphemous, but it's got that muscular tone to it that back then they didn't have the recording tools to create. Have you guys ever considered like doing a full EP or even a full album of covers like a lot of bands are these days?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we think about that idea, but maybe not recording them again, but maybe take them all together and put it like in a new release, because we got a lot of them. We recorded Domination from Pantera. We recorded Be Quick or Be Dead from Iron Maiden, Hell Patrol from Judas Priest, Highway Star from Deep Purple. I love that song. It's like, yeah, but that song came because we thought that this is, in my opinion, after Black Sabbath, this is how heavy metal started, with that song. My opinion is not only heavy metal, but even speed metal. It's like with that song, and with the Stained Class from Judas Priest. In my opinion, is how speed metal started. So we wanted to make Highway Star like that. And we also recorded the Antichrist from Slayer. I think that we also got Master of Puppets from Metallica.
Yeah, you guys have done a lot of, the one band, it always blows my mind that they're one of the greatest bands out of the new wave British heavy metal scene, Saxon. But I have literally never seen anybody cover them ever. And I can't believe that it's never happened. But
Yeah,
so,
that's
there's so many great
true.
songs. Motorcycle Man, Wheels of Steel, you can go on all day. And yet nobody's ever covered them.
Yeah, actually, I saw like 3-4 bands, like local bands and other bands like playing Saxon songs over there. Yeah, well, actually, yeah. And to be honest, I don't know why Saxon is a band, and it's not too much mentioned when you're talking about influence. It's like including myself. It's like we always talk about when you come from the UK, you only talk about maybe Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Motorhead, of course, and Black Sabbath.
Priest,
yeah. I think Saxon.
They get overlooked, but everybody loves them and listens to them. It's kind of weird.
Saxon is always the great forgotten band, and
we have to fix that, Guillermo.
Yes, okay, let's try, of course.
Oh, the new album, Angelus Apatrida, the self-titled album, it's out now. It's fantastic. Everybody needs to check it out. Go buy it, support the band, please. Guillermo, thanks so much for taking some time to catch up with us so late at night. It's like after 11 over there, and I appreciate you so much. Hopefully one of these days we'll get a chance to see you on tour here in North America. I know that's even more difficult than getting rid of this pandemic at this point, but we can remain hopeful. You be safe, and much appreciation and thanks to your fiance for what she does, because that's a hell of a job to be doing right now during this pandemic, much less any other time. And I'll let you get out of here.
Okay, thanks. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. And I had a very good time, and it's a pleasure to be doing this with you. Thanks a lot. And of course, let's until we can go on tour, we can go back on tour, and of course until the time that we can go to the United States playing for the first time. We've never been there, so until then we can just keep in touch in our socials, Instagram, Facebook, or stuff. Of course, you got Spotify. You can check all our discography, not only the latest album, but the rest of our discography. Everybody, and you, please stay safe, and see you very soon. And thanks again. Thank you so much, Rusty.
Absolutely. Take care, my friend.
You too. Take care.